Grand Rising. How are we? So I hope y'all had an awesome Baldur's Day. Thanksgiving. I think it's right to call it Baldur's Day here in America. It's it's an American Norse thing, I would say. But anyway, last night, me and a couple members of my family, we went to go see Napoleon, which was an incredibly long movie. I've lost a little bit of sleep, and I got some more Christmas trees coming off of a truck today, and I gotta unload it, feeling like this. But anyway, so I wanted to talk a little bit about it since I've slept on it. To say that, as far as, first thing is technical points. As the kind of historical, kind of a war-ish drama, it's great. It's shot well. It's edited well and everything else. It goes and it's slow, and it's there for you to just to be taken to the time and place and to see France through the eyes of Napoleon, to see the world through the eyes of Napoleon during these times. And a lot of supporting characters do an excellent job at showing you what Napoleon knew about how the world works, because people would explain situations to him, so on and so forth. And you get a sense of what his decision making was, right? Where his values were at, aspects of his personal conduct. Like, this movie didn't pull any cheap shots, right? There was maybe one, possibly two scenes where, he needs to get a box because he's not tall enough, right? This kind of thing, and it's definitely meant to, make the observation. Let's just remember Napoleon is short. By short, he's 5'8". He's 2 inches taller than me. Yes, people don't realize I'm 5'6", but that's because, as a beast, your size is largely in the eye of the beholder. And then, the reality sets in when you stand up to someone and, you're looking down at them. It changes how you feel about it. Kind of, depending. It all depends on your posture. How do I feel when I'm stepping up to someone taller than me, right? And people projected their insecurities onto someone whom they despised because he, he was a product of his time. There was nothing unvirtuous about being an imperialist at that time. Nobody in the world in history for us like this were living in these attitudes of, the sovereign citizen, we got to get back to tribal, da-da-da-da-da. No, there was a general sense of everybody was kind of going in the same direction in a way, right? It's interesting, and, France seemed like, overall, if you knew how to navigate the politico-social tension of the era, was a decent place to live, even during the times just before Napoleon, because the movie, of course, kicks off. It kicks off immediately with the end of the of the, not the aristocracy per se, but I guess so. But the end of the royal family. And you get the beheading of Marie Antoinette. And then from there, it's off to the races on the arena that we are all familiar with, the progress of Napoleon in his military career, which transforms into a political career. And it doesn't play him up as, like, he's rolling with fate. It's just like when he's up and he's down. Hey, what's up, Bane Bear? When he's up and he's down, he keeps it all the same, right? And it's just like he genuinely only wants power because, it's just like he cares about his country, by the imperial standards of his people. And he's not incredibly, it's not like he gets all pissy about it. There's only a handful of times where, the movie shows him losing some of his composure. And it's under reasonable circumstances for anybody who just, he's trying to succeed by terms that aren't, we're not talking about petty football over here, right? Even though war has that football-like quality. We're talking about an emperor who, does go on the battlefield, who does risk it. He has to walk and he has to run straight up to that other emperor to talk to them, right? Under terms of wins and losses, graces or retributions. And if I didn't believe that a no masters, no slaves anarchy principle was the only way that anything fucking actually works to anyone's natural individual human satisfaction, it's just like, it's kind of like the high ideals of Alexander the Great, right? You're talking about trying to conquer people who are very petty about war, right? Very petty about war. The French, by and large, just wanted to fend off the British, is how the movie puts off Napoleon, right? It's just like, look, I don't know why we're at war, Tsar of Russia, Emperor of Belgium, right? I don't know why we're fucking fighting. But we all know why we're fighting the British. So, come on! Right? That was his argument. His argument was like, but the British, come on! Right? And you have to serve the interests of your people at the same time, right? It's just like Napoleon didn't go in there and tell French people to change all sorts of things, right? He let France be France, and then he went out and he conquered all sorts of shit from people that there was already too much hostile contention with anyway. And he was trying to be Mr. Peace at the beginning of his empire, right? That he had pseudo-inherited as a smaller empire. per se, or really just a kingdom with colonies or something like that. Like maybe the French colonies or something, or the French settlements or whatever, were just like, dude, this Napoleon guy's so great, we're just gonna join. We're just gonna fall in rank and like let's empire it up, baby, right? This is little bits and pieces here and there, right? And so that's why, like, not to be a Trump defender, because we all know where my position has shifted since 2020 on the Orange Man. But the reasons why I liked him before 2020 is kind of the same reasons why I think history painted him in a bad light, right? Is that he probably was trying to fix a whole lot of fucking problems for reals under a better ideal for people. You know, the French Revolution was terrible compared to our revolution, right? Because they weren't ready to organize a more coherent republic out of their overthrow, which is why they went the way that they went, and Napoleon became what he became, right? Because the way the movie puts it, and probably true, you know, the way that France was going to be at that time, that it was the French people that, like, okay, we don't want that monarch. We still need centralized power, just with with more power to the people, and so the people are going to give a centralized power to the executive of our country, you know, and our president, or whatever the hell they're fucking calling themselves, is gonna become emperor. Right? I mean, like, they don't even make like it's not even like the biggest deal. Like when he crowns himself in front of the church, right? It's just like, you know, the priest isn't even shocked and aboard, and like nobody's like gasping, right? This was him making a statement that, like, look, this is here because I fucking saved the country. Everybody asked me to come here because I fucking saved the country. I want to make sure that I am acknowledging that you have acknowledged that this is what I have fucking done. So I'm going to make this invocation. Well, I myself put this crown on my head because you know, the church did not really bless this. It's something I earned. You guys were wrong and I was right. I was listening to the way, like, he's portrayed, the way he talked and shit like that, and it's just like, man, I am such a little shit. I must be a little shit because I have a Napoleon complex. Like, if you want to accuse me of having a Napoleon complex, I say, like, oh, you saw the Joaquin Phoenix film. I'm gonna be like that now, because you know what? That painted Napoleon in a very good light. It was good to see a nice, just a really cool depiction of a period of French history. Because, you know, the French for, you know, World War II stuff, and even World War I stuff, they kind of get like a bad rap. They get like a bad rap, you know, like there's always that little jab at the French, and it's been out there for a long time. And I'm kind of inclined to agree with the jab to it a little bit. But at the end of the day, the French are originally a Germanic people. And we hailed Thor just like any other Germanic tribe. So don't fuck with the French. Savvy? Well then. So, I mean, like, one could almost say, like, the way this film portrayed things and the whole issue with the quote exile and everything else, that you could look at the rise of Napoleon to be akin to what was the rise of Trump. It was something that worked for the establishment for a long time, and regardless of how good the prospects of the future were under Trump's guidance, that wasn't going to work if nobody wanted to go with it, right? And you saw the maximum level of people not wanting to go with it. Did they steal it? Sure, they sure did. They stole it because you effectively, throughout your process, let the people that were supposed to protect it just leave it on the table in a bad neighborhood. And thus it was stolen. You threw the election to the swine, and the swine took it. And then you complained about it. This is part and parcel of how all of my attitudes have shifted, not just about politics, but of the people in politics. You know, the people like you and me, people with their ideas about moving things forward, and who's taking things seriously, who is a triviality in this grand fucking scheme. Are we done? Are we done feeling and being insulted and exploited? But hey, look, these violent matters, like you either want to win or you want to lose with these people, right? I don't know if if it's right to not fight about certain things or not, right? When you feel your world crumbling around you, you feel like you got a good reason, right? You know, the people on January 6th, they're just looking at how good things objectively were for people that weren't in an emotional panic. Whether you were living a liberal life or conservative life. And we just wanted to transcend the narrative and give it time, because they just hadn't had enough time to really sit back, reflectively appreciate what is going on good for them. But of course, the election couldn't be about the last 4 years. It could only be about the very year in which the election was happening, a year that was a nightmare for everybody, willingly or unwillingly. All right, I'm off to work.